I've been talking to Dane Cook a little bit lately, just a little bit here and there. We're going to do lunch next time he's in New York City. I've always kept in touch with Dane Cook. I always thought he got a bad rap with his fellow comedians. I thought Dane Cook was an unbelievable and still is an unbelievable comic. He had an insane career path, and I saw the comedians around him very, very jealous of his success. But Dane Cook worked really, really hard. When I was working at WAAF, the only station that really rocks, I would go down to Comedy Connection to check out comedy shows. I remember seeing Dane Cook and thinking to myself, no one knew who he was at this point. I mean, he was starting to get a name for himself in Boston. I'm like, this guy is unbelievable. And then fast forward, he was smart enough to understand social media before anybody else. Dane Cook was smart enough to figure out the whole MySpace thing and the social media thing and how to build an audience through it. Now you talk about that, you're like, yeah, what's the big deal? Everyone's doing it. He was the first, and no one took MySpace seriously, but he used it to build his fan base. And then you fast forward, he had the comedy to back it up. And next thing you know, this guy is on private jets selling out all over the country. He was making like a minimum of $1 million a night. And some nights, and I saw it for myself, Jennifer first. I love Dane Cook and always will. Matt Rife is having a mini Dane moment right now on TikTok. Right on. No, I'm still a huge supporter of Dane Cook. Jennifer, we literally were talking last week through DMs. But so then Dane actually gave me one of his extra tickets to Saturday Night Live when he hosted. It was the only time I saw Saturday Night Live in person. And it was because of Dane Cook. He had an extra ticket. And he goes, oh, you want to go? I'm like, hell yeah, I'll go. And I sat in that audience for Dane Cook's first time hosting on SNL. And then at the after party, the legendary SNL after party, I actually went to one of those. It was absolutely crazy. The party started at something like 2 in the morning and went till dawn. And I remember at the end of it, I was walking down the street with Keenan Thompson. And we went to one of those falafel food trucks. I was just walking with him. He didn't give two craps who I was or anything like that, but I never forgot it. I happened to want some food at the end of the night. He wanted, and some other people. And we lined up, and it was a bunch of celebrities lining up to get a falafel or whatever the hell it was. And then I remember the sun was coming up. And Keenan, I never told the story. And then Keenan Thompson jumped in like a cab or something as the sun was coming up over Manhattan. But I got that experience because of Dane Cook. He gave me one of his extra tickets to see him at SNL. And I sat right next to his brother that ended up ripping him off for millions. I was kind of at like the family and friends table. So I was actually sitting next to Dane Cook's, I think technically it was his half-brother, but his half-brother took him for millions and millions of dollars and hid money all over the country. I think they found like $1 million or something like that in a freezer. He froze money, but he was hiding it everywhere. And I sat next to the guy at the after party for SNL. And he was actually, oh God, I got the hiccups. He actually was a lovely guy. And then someone goes, John Courts, love Dane Cook, funny as hell. Hell yeah, man. Rest in peace to Dane's Cash. That's how talented he was. He lost millions, and he jumped back on the road, and he got most of it back by his talent and his stand-up. But anyway, so then I'm sitting there, and someone goes, "You want to meet Lorne Michaels?" I'm like, and I was like, I'm not worthy. And this was pretty much at the height of the Opie and Anthony years. So we were very well known in New York City at this point. And man, I don't even know who said, do you want to meet Lorne Michaels? But I said, hell yeah. Lorne Michaels stood up when he was introduced to me. And we had a lovely chat for 2, maybe 3 minutes. And he knew of Opie and Anthony and knew of our show. and said really complimentary stuff about how, well we're doing and keep it up and blah, blah, blah. And it was nice meeting you and all that. And I was like, this is just absolutely crazy. So then me and Dane Cook continued to be friends. And every time I could see him, I did. And I saw him at Madison Square Garden in the front row when he was in the round or whatever, or just him in a stool. And then I happened to be up in Boston. And I watched Dane Cook turn the old Boston Garden. What I mean by that, Dane Cook in one night in Boston, I've never seen this in my life. I'm sure Bill Burr's done it by now and maybe Louis C.K., but no, this was unheard of. So I went to the show at the Garden, went backstage. It was all these just crazy ass Boston celebrities everywhere. And Dane was so happy that I, showed up. And he was hilarious once again. Standing ovation. Was that Vicious Cycle? Vicious Circle? I think you're right. But here's the thing with the Boston shows with Dane Cook. So the show's over. I go backstage. I say, hey. And then I'm like, he's with family and friends. I'm like, look, I don't want to bother you, but thanks for having me. And thanks for treating me like a damn king. And I left. And this is what I saw outside the Boston Garden. Something like 15,000 people lined up for a second show to see Dane Cook and a stool and a microphone. Can you believe that? But long story short, I think he got a bad shake from all his fellow comedians. I saw the jealousy. I heard the jealousy. These guys didn't understand Dane Cook's success, which is stupid because he deserved every single moment of it. And, these guys would sit around at the table at the cellar, just making fun of each other's shirts and haircuts and bad-mouthing Dane Cook and bad-mouthing any other comedian that escaped and became hugely successful. And then they're sitting there going, man, it should be me. It should be me. And then they would turn and go, nice shirt, stupid. So, yeah, I'll always stick up for Dane Cook. Hard worker, very, very talented. And, he deserved his success. Dane got stabbed in the back. You think?